A new CNN poll finds 75% of Democratic and Democratic-leaning voters want the party to nominate some other person than Joe Biden in this upcoming election. The poll comes as Biden's approval ratings remain low and most Americans are discontent with the state of the economy. A report released today shows that inflation remains high, showing consumer confidence slip for the third straight month. The administration is struggling to get a handle on inflation that has risen to 40-year highs and left Americans struggling with high prices of essentials like food, housing, and gas. The spike in prices comes in the wake of the crisis, upending key global supply chains, further affecting oil and food supply. President Biden is finally keeping his campaign promise to the American people. Schumer and Manchin have agreed to vote on another bill, and this means more aid will be approved for many people. Thousands of Americans can apply for a 12-month guaranteed income pilot program. They'll pay $6,000. The time is running out. Through a partnership with Mayors for our Guaranteed Income Program, Mount Vernon, New York, will send $500 monthly payments to eligible residents for a year. The pilot, which is called Level Up, will send cash to select Mount Vernon residents while simultaneously studying the effects of the extra income. To participate, households must earn at least $15,000 annually. Income caps vary by household size, but families must make less than 80% of the county's average income to qualify. For a household of four, the income limit is $90,000. Eligible residents can apply online August 5th. There will also be physical locations around the city where residents can apply. After the window closes, eligible applicants will be randomly selected to participate in the Universal Basic Income Pilot. The city expects to notify people by the end of August, but the timeline is subject to change. Payments will come with no strings attached, and participants are free to spend the money however they like. Participants will be paid through preloaded crisis debit cards, so a bank account isn't necessary to apply. The program will cost around $1 million. All of the funding will come from the American Rescue Plan, which earmarked $41 million for relief in Mount Vernon. And also, Joe Biden's campaign trail promise to increase taxes on corporations and the wealthy got an unexpected boost today. This is part of a battle against income inequality in the United States. Early proposals to increase tax rates from the Biden administration and his fellow Democrats hit a brick wall in Congress. They came after Republicans and Democrats opposed the move, but a sudden reversal by Joe Manchin has jump-started Biden's agenda. The amount U.S. companies contribute to tax revenue that funds roads and schools has plummeted since the 40s.
Madam Speaker, let me wish you good morning, and my good friend, Mr. Cole, good morning. It feels like just a couple of hours ago I was saying good morning. But let me say to the gentleman, he looks marvelous for getting no sleep, and it's great to be with you. Madam Speaker, the Rules Committee met and reported a rule, House Resolution 972, providing for the consideration of the Senate amendment to H.R. 2471, the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2022. It provides for a motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 2471 with a House amendment and 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Appropriations. It divides the question on adoption of the motion into two votes in the order specified by the chair, and provides that if any portion of the divided question fails, the House shall be considered to have made no disposition of the Senate amendment. The rule also provides for consideration of H.J. Res. 75, the extension of Continuing Appropriations Act of 2022 under a closed rule. It provides 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Appropriations, and provides for one motion to recommit. Finally, the rule provides for consideration of H.R. 6968, the Suspending Energy Imports from Russia Act, under a closed rule. It provides 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Ways and Means, and provides one motion to recommit. Madam Speaker, the bills contained in this rule are about investing in our communities and families here at home and living up to our values abroad. Throughout last summer, House Democrats were hard at work passing appropriation bills funding nearly all of the federal government to build on the momentum of our economic recovery. This full-year omnibus is the product of extensive bipartisan, bicameral negotiations. Both sides have come together to produce an agreement to fund the government that I think has resulted in a very, very good bill. This means this agreement does not include everything I wanted, and I know it doesn't include everything my Republican friends wanted. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good package that is going to benefit the American people. I especially want to recognize Chairwoman DeLauro and Ranking Member Granger and thank them for forging a bipartisan path forward. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the incredible staff of the Appropriations Committee, as well as the incredible staff of the Rules Committee, Democrats and Republicans, who have worked tirelessly to bring this legislation to the floor today. I think most of my colleagues here do not appreciate how hard the staff works, and I think the American people ought to be proud of those who serve up here in both parties for their public service. The work of Chairwoman DeLauro and Ranking Member Granger could not have come at a more critical time. We are at a moment in history that demands a strong, confident America, and the certainty provided by this omnibus will allow us to tackle some of our country's biggest challenges by helping to support good-paying American jobs, by building ladders of opportunity for hardworking families, by confronting the existential threat of climate change, and by investing in life-saving research into maternal health, mental health, and opiate abuse. I am proud that we negotiated a government funding package that centers the needs of middle-class and working families, not the rich and not on powerful special interests. I'm particularly proud that one of the provisions included in this package is funding for a White House conference on food, nutrition, hunger, and health. It is something that we have worked together on in a bipartisan way in the Rules Committee and with Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. We live in the United States of America, the richest country on the history of this planet. And yet, as we gather here today, close to 40 million of our fellow citizens don't know where the next meal is going to come from. There is not a single congressional district in America that is hunger-free. We ought to be ashamed of that. And hunger is a political condition. We can solve this problem, but we need to have the political will. And this conference, I hope, will provide that political will. I'll remind my colleagues the last time we had a conference on this subject was 54 years ago. And so I am looking forward to working with the White House and my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to forge a path forward to end hunger in America once and for all. Madam Speaker, this rule also provides for consideration of a short-term continuing resolution that keeps the government funded at current levels through March 15 to give the United States Senate adequate time to pass this full-year omnibus agreement and get it to President Biden's desk so that he can sign it. And in the wake of the